Sanskrit is an ancient language which, well, it can trace its roots all the way back to Proto-Indo-European. In this way, it is part of the very building blocks of all of the modern-day European languages. So I tell you what, let's go through some of those sweet, sweet loan words from Sanskrit in English, in the now. Right now, we use some of those words. I love pepper and you love pepper and, well, we all love pepper, and until the modern day, pepper was very highly prized. In fact, wars have been fought over pepper, and in fact, wars in the future may be fought over pepper. Who can say? I know that I need a better grinder, that's for sure. The word itself comes from, well, Middle English through to Old English, and then German, and then Latin, and then Greek, and then back to Middle Indic, and then Sanskrit. That word in Sanskrit, which is papali, somehow, well, weirdly, it means long pepper, which is frustrating because that begs the question, what does pepper mean? I mean, what does that originally, what's the original, is that even a valid question, I guess would be the next thing you'd say. Of course, with all of these roots and all of this passing around of all of the languages, that means that most of the European languages have a word for pepper which sort of sounds the same. So Welsh, French, Lithuanian, they're all sort of the same. I'll have mine on some eggs. I'm the Juggernaut.
I'm the Juggernaut, bitch!
He's the Juggernaut. In modern English, we might refer to a juggernaut as something which is sort of big and unstoppable and heavy and sort of crushy, just like that character in those comic books and that film and the action figures. And the word itself breaks down into two word particles, so the first one being jugget, which basically means, well, the world and all that moves in it, so all the beasts and all the men and all the plants, so everything, the world. The second part, nata, means master, so basically when you put those two together you have master of all that moves. The modern English sense came through to, well, the first European, a friar Wha'd'reckon, who was a Franciscan friar, a Franciscan missionary, when he went to the village of Puri. I do, of course, apologise to the inhabitants of Puri and, of course, the inhabitants of most of the subcontinent of India when I'm mispronouncing things like that. I'm doing the best I can, I'm sorry. Anyway, that friar described a festival that happened in that town whereby a large carriage was drawn through the streets of the town bearing an image of the supreme Hindu deity, and people would throw themselves in front of this carriage in sort of some kind of holy sacrifice. That unconfirmed report went on to capture the imagination of them Europeans and them English people as well, and then of course they went on to do an industrial revolution, and when they did that industrial revolution they created large machines of steel and metal and iron and stuff like that, and then those large machines of steel and iron and metal, they became quite sort of crushy and big and sort of, you know, scary, so then they became synonymous with the word juggernaut. Today in modern English we use that phrase to really denote anything which is large and crushy and a bit unstoppable, hence political juggernaut, marketing juggernaut, cultural juggernaut, all of those things, and then of course that guy.
I'm the Juggernaut, bitch!
Candy in the UK is not the same as candy in the United States because of course those are the only two places in the world. You know what, I'm sorry, if you live somewhere else in the world that is not the UK or the US, which of course are not the centre of the world, tell me what candy means to you. In the comments, please, of course. You know, don't come to... The comments is the place for that. In the States, it does appear to be anything that's sort of sweet, I guess. I mean, not cakes. I mean, they don't really count, or biscuits. I mean, of course, a biscuit is something different in the States. Let's not get involved in that. Either way, in the United Kingdom, a piece of candy is basically a boiled sweet, and largely it's only that thing. The word originally comes, well, it comes through English from French, and then Arabic, and then back to Sanskrit, of course, where the word is kanda. That literally means piece, as in piece of sugar. Talking of pieces of stuff, support, give this video a like or give it a subscribe. If you're feeling really fruity, maybe give it a share or maybe do a follow. Whatever it is that you want to do, please do it. It really helps me to make more. Thank you. I realised there was no link to the word peace there. I don't know why. Anyway. The story of the word orange is fascinating and actually probably merits a whole video unto itself, so maybe I'll do that in the future. Suffice to say, there was no word in English for the colour orange until oranges themselves were introduced into Europe. I mean, that blows my mind. Even Chaucer described a fox as a colour between yellow and red. It does make you wonder what kinds of words and concepts we're sort of culturally blind to at the moment because we don't have words for them. You know, what kind of words in the future are we going to come up with that's all of a sudden we'll be like, oh no, that is a thing, and then in the future someone will make a video and they'll go, oh, I can't believe they didn't. Suffice to say, I imagine that it'll probably just be words for different types of asteroids or different types of despair that you're feeling while you're mining Mars for your cultural and spiritual master Elon Musk. Anyway, some of what I just said isn't entirely correct. So basically there was sort of a word for orange in Middle English, which was, well, I mean, in modern English it would be yellow-red. But that doesn't really count, I don't think. All of that changed when the orange came along the spice trail into Europe. The word itself comes from Sanskrit, of course, and then possibly from a much older language called Dravidian, which I'm sure is an alien race in Star Trek. I mean, I'll find a clip maybe. Either way, it's thought, maybe, possibly, that word originally meant fragrant. You might imagine that the word loot involves pirates, those cheeky, murderous scoundrels. And yes, that does tend to be a thing in modern storytelling. I mean, if you're a gamer, you would imagine it to be something else. You would imagine it usually to be a virtual box of prizes, which, despite having paid money for, is still basically gambling. Yep, to loot literally means to rob. Those little virtual boxes of disappointment are literally robbing crates. I guess the story, the narrative idea is that somewhere along the line those crates were there's booty, it's, you know, it's loot, it's been stolen from somebody else, and then you get to open it and then you can get that loot and then you can have it for a price, of course. I guess it's a bit like Storage Wars, but probably with some less profanity, maybe more profanity.
What's your profanity?
Interestingly, this one first appeared in James, what was his name again? Charles James's Military Dictionary in 1802, and well, he described it as an Indian military term meaning to plunder or pillage. As advertised by the title of this video, that word obviously has its roots in Sanskrit. Now that word is Lotran. I'm going to show it on the screen right now and then you can have a look at it and decide how to say it, because if you speak Sanskrit, or if you are an Indian, if you are someone who speaks a language which is Indic and related to it and you know how to say that, please let me know, because I couldn't find anywhere, I couldn't work out how to say that word. Either way, that word means booty or stolen property. So no, pirates didn't say the word loot, unless they were of course pirates which were, I don't know, in India or in the Indian Ocean, or I don't know, maybe they did say it, I don't know, they probably would have said Lotram, I guess, or however you say it. I'm doing my job really well here, aren't I? By the way, if you own an independent bookshop or comic book shop or bar or, I don't know, restaurant or gift shop or something like that in Bristol, I'd really like to, well, I'd like to come and film a video on your premises. It gives me a nice background that I can boast about later. So anyway, until next time, maybe pick up a favourite book, maybe reread a favourite book, unless that book is about, I don't know, how to be a good Nazi or something. In fact, I tell you what, pick up a copy of Eunoia by Christian Boke. I did a post about it on my Instagram. You should check it out. It's really good. It's a really good book. Yeah, go and read that. All right, take care of yourselves. Bye bye.